Hi everyone. In this video I want to go over how to work on our project 1H, which is one of our Fix-It projects. So in this project you're going to start with a file that you download from our Blackboard course website. Save it with your last name, first name, and then keep the last part of the file name. Then what you're going to do, just like the title says, there's some things in here that need to be fixed or corrected. So you're going to be working on a worksheet that summarizes the sales by each team member. And in this project, you're going to find and correct errors in both the formulas and the formatting. So keep this part in mind, okay? Using the formula bar, you're going to be able to edit the formulas as necessary, and then also there's some more information below. Now keep in mind that these Fix-It projects are not like the other projects that we worked on in the chapter. Obviously you can see that these do not go step by step by step, so you really do have to pay close attention and do a little of the Excel detective work to make sure that you find all of the mistakes and make the corrections. But please remember that you can always go back in your book and use anything that we covered in the chapter in the book to help you along the way. Okay, so now let's look at this list. It says there's some spelling errors, and I think that's pretty straightforward. There are some worksheet titles that need to be merged and centered. So let's go over here to the actual file that you're going to start with. I've made it a little bit bigger. I used the zoom just to make it a little bit easier to see. So you can find the titles up here. Make sure to remember to merge them all the way over all of the columns of the worksheet. So you're going to merge and center all of your titles, subtitles, and use the appropriate cell styles for those. Okay, let's see what's next on our list. Number and accounting format. So we want 0 decimal places in all of our data, and we do want some text to be wrapped where necessary. Okay, so back over to our file. General practice is when you're using the accounting formatting, and remember that's when you have the dollar signs. I'll just use this one as an example. The accounting number format puts a dollar sign in front of the number and also gives it 2 decimal places. So imagine if we had even more rows than this and we did the accounting format on all of the data. You can see that that visually starts to look very busy. So I'm going to undo my information there. I'll take both of those out. So standard practice is that you use the accounting formatting in the first row of your data and then in your total row of your data. So just those 2 items, okay? All the other ones in between should have this comma formatting, which they do, and these cells, excuse me, do have that 0 decimal places. So when you're doing the accounting number formatting, remember that you want to have 0 decimal places in any of these that you're making the changes to, along with the accounting number formatting. If you do want to use the cell style for the total down here, that's great too. Okay, now it says the next one says percent style should be with 2 decimal places should be applied where necessary. So we can see that we're figuring out a percent of total sales over here. So I would want all of these items to have percent formatting, which I can use this percentage up here, and then if I need to I can use the increase decimal button here as well to give it the 2 decimal places. But if we take a peek here, obviously I can see there's something going on. So it looks like if I come up here to the formula bar, I can click in here and see what's going on in that cell. So right now the percent of total sales says F5 divided by F11, and that looks pretty good. But what if I come down here into the next cell, which is G6, I click up here in the formula bar. Now, upon inspection, it looks like, okay, F6, which is correct, but look what I'm dividing by. I'm dividing by F12. There's nothing in F12. That's why I'm getting this dividing by zero error message. So remember in the book when we use the absolute reference, that's a hint for you. You want to make sure to make that correction here. I would fix this first one and then use my little nifty fill handle to fill in the remainder of the items there. And then don't forget the percentage of the percentage formatting. Your column headings should be with the cell style, the heading 4 style. You want to make sure to change the chart title to the appropriate title. It's listed in the instructions. At the bottom of the instructions, it says that you want to center the worksheet horizontally, landscape orientation, and a footer. So anytime you're in your having to do anything like that, I would come over to the Page Layout tab and click on the Page Setup dialog box to do those types of things. Take a look at your Margins tab here, as well as your header and footer, and those are the areas that you can look to accomplish those items. You should also put in a tag here. So I went to the Backstage view and just found the tag here, and they want you to put in Team Sales. So let's go back here. Now, we fixed this formula over here, but remember it said that there might be more formulas to fix. And if I look down here, it looks like I'm getting a little error message, that little triangle in the upper right hand corner. And it tells me that formulas omit adjacent cells. So that's one thing that tells me something's going on. So again, I'm using my formula bar to do the investigating, because what the result here is the 7,862, but what's really residing in this formula, in this cell, is the formula. So if I click up here in the formula bar, this kind of gives me a visual representation of what's part of this formula. And obviously, it looks like something is missing. It says B7 through B10, but what about these two? So that's a hint for you as well. So you need to make corrections to this formula, okay? And once you've made that correction, again, I would use my little fill handle over here to then copy that across and make sure that you have everything corrected as needed. When you're trying to fix a spreadsheet, or maybe you get a spreadsheet from someone else, sometimes it's not a bad idea to, get that calculator out. That would be one of the few times I would say that you might need a calculator, but just to make sure to look and see, is this the right information, or really do take a look at this formula bar. The formula bar is where you can focus and see if something is not correct with the formula, or really what's going on with that formula, to help you make up your mind. Does it need correcting? Is it fine as it is? Okay, so I hope that this information has been helpful to you. Have fun fixing up this project, and take care, and I'll see you next time.